I just find it so hard to have people saying we are losing over and over and over again, to act like we are not seeing tremendous culture war victories. And politics is downstream from culture. Andrew Breitbart told you this over 10 years ago. Now, right now, obviously, we have Matt Gaetz fighting the good fight, Kevin McCarthy fighting a bad fight, cutting backroom deals. But culturally, we have victory after victory. We are shaping the face of a new generation and of a country. And if we keep this up, politics will be soon to follow. That means anybody who's coming out and advocating for any kind of extreme action, they're a Fed. Because we're staring at a Donald Trump leading in the polls, fundraising at record numbers, and we're looking at apps like Public Square and ultra-right dad's beer. Conservative dad's ultra-right beer and conservative dad's revenge. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you another tremendous culture war victory. Shout out to Seth Weathers. Woke-free Bud Light beer alternative ultra-right rakes in $500,000 in just 12 hours after releasing a special edition can featuring Trump's mugshot. Yo, tremendous. Ultra-right beer CEO Seth Weathers told Fox Business that sales after the special edition launch were equivalent to over 5 tractor loads of cans. We knew people would go wild over these collector cans, but we had no idea the response would be this crazy. He described the beer cans, dubbed Conservative Dad's Revenge, as the most sought-after collector beer can in American history. Sales have poured in from the moment we launched. With over $1 million in beer and merchandise sales, we've raised over $50,000 for the legal defense of the Georgia Trump electors and the Georgia Republican Party, said Weathers. This is, in 12 hours, they get $500,000. Since then, they're over $1 million. And apparently he's thinking that they're going to crack $2 million by the time this beer is off market. Look at that can. Conservative Dad's Revenge, limited edition. It's Trump's mugshots. I think the mugshot is public domain. There may be an issue with Trump's likeness, but I have to wonder about this. There's some questions about copyright. I ultimately just don't think Trump cares. The beer company website pledges to donate 10% of the sales to the GOP Defense Fund in Georgia, and that's a lot. My only thing to Seth Weathers is he probably should have said something like 50% of profit, but I guess he said 10% of sales. So my understanding, basically based on this, is let's say it costs what are they doing, like $1 a beer? It's probably like $3 or $4. I don't know, maybe $2 a beer for them. And then they sell it at like $3 or something. So they're making like a 30% markup. Giving 10% is a third of their sales, of their profit margin. So that's why people typically like to say profits, because saying 10% of sales sounds small. It sounds like you're not giving that much, when he's actually probably giving a substantial amount. A lot of businesses like Target, their margin is 3%. They couldn't say that. Conservative Dad's ultra-right beer puts our money where our mouth is. We're doing our part to fight back against the unjust persecution of American patriots. Featuring Trump's historic mugshot in monochrome on a black background and blazed with the words 100% American beer, the cans cost $25 for a 6-pack plus shipping. Yes, that's expensive. I'm pretty sure. I don't buy beer, but I'm pretty sure you can get like a 20 a Modelo or something for around $20. Bud Light's substantially cheaper, but we know why that is. Weathers went on to predict the sales will likely top $2 million by midnight Sunday when the special edition can officially goes off the market. So technically midnight Monday, 11:59 p.m. Sunday. Trump made history by becoming the first former president to pose for a mugshot after his arrest for trying to overturn the 2020 election results in Georgia. He has pleaded not guilty to the charges and has used the photo to raise money for his campaign. Although it claims it is not endorsed by Trump, the website echoes the narrative that he is under fire from corrupt, politically motivated forces who want to sabotage his 2024 White House bid. They're sold alongside the caption, each sale defends conservatives against the unconstitutional prosecution by the communist Fulton County District Attorney. Here's what I got to say. There's a story from Reuters. I think I actually might have it here. U.S. Supreme Court rebuffs lawyers punished after woeful suit backing Trump. You want to hear shocking? You want to know why people are backing this beer? One, obviously Bud Light. We all know about Bud Light and Dylan Mulvaney, and this is a man's pushback. Masculinity saying no. Humans, good Americans saying, we will create a challenge to your broken system. But let me show you this story from Reuters so you can really understand the importance of pushing back in every way possible. How do we raise money for legal defense? Well, to be honest, it's actually quite simple. The first, sell a product. You can come out and you can say, hey, we need money. Please donate money. And if people want to give, they'll give. But how about this? How about you say, how'd you like a beer? People say, yes, I'd like a beer. And then you take a portion of those beer sales and you use it to help fund legal defense. Take a look at this. U.S. Supreme Court on Monday declined to hear an appeal by two lawyers contesting a $187,000 sanction imposed on them by a judge who found they made reckless and frivolous claims in litigation they brought seeking to overturn former President Trump's 2020 election loss as fraudulent. The justices turned away the appeal by Ernest Walker and Gary Fielder, who had filed a lawsuit in Colorado accusing voting equipment company Dominion Voting Systems, Meta's Facebook, and the Center for Tech and Civic Life nonprofit organization of working to steal the election from Trump. The judge who dismissed the suit ordered Walker and Fielder to pay the legal fees of the parties they sued. Now, hold on. Some people might say, wait, no. Paying the legal fees of the other party is normal. Not for the lawyers. The lawyers were hired by Trump who said, here's my argument. Can you help me craft it? And they said, yes. The fact that they went after the lawyers with nearly $200,000 in fines is insane. The message is clear. If you're a Trump supporter, if you are Trump, you are undeserving of constitutional protection. And the Supreme Court, spineless cowards, said too effing bad. We can't function this way. This cannot persist. And so while I may be talking to you about woke beer, about a company selling beers, they're raising money for legal defenses. And that's an extremely important thing to be done. Additionally, buying products from companies that believe in American values is how we win this. What are we fighting for? Individual liberties, a moral foundation. You know, I often bring up Bill Maher. Bill Maher has a Christian moral framework in his mind, and he doesn't get it. And I wish he did, and it'd be interesting to have a conversation with him about it. You ask him, hey, Bill, do you think that people should be deemed innocent until proven guilty? He'll say yes. I'm like, so you agree with the teachings of the Bible? The story of Sodom and Gomorrah, I bring it up all the time. It was these moral questions are instilled upon us by the values given to us by our ancestors, by those that come before us. China does not have such a moral framework. The United States sought to push these moral frameworks around the world. For better or for worse, make the argument. But I will say here in the United States, it's slipping, and we are losing this. And so the first thing we can do, knowing that politics is downstream from culture, is build culture. And this is why it's so important to do podcasts. I love this. I was talking to, I think it was Carl Benjamin, Sargon of Akkad, and we were talking about what we can do to actually fight and win this culture war. And what he said was the right has no plan. They have no plan. There's no organization. And I brought up the coffee shop. I brought up Public Square. I brought up all of the efforts that we're undertaking. And then he said something interesting. The founding fathers in the revolutionary period spent the majority of the revolutionary period pamphleting and holding meetings. And that is what we hope can resolve the issues. Building a culture that just says we have no confidence. We will peacefully go other ways. And I will tell you, it's one thing when you have the crown, the absolute authority, and a nation thousands of miles away and fighting. It's another thing when we are the people in this country. And if we change the confidence in this nation, it is no longer British regulars being shipped in from overseas into a land they're not familiar with. It is the cops who live in our own communities. It is the National Guard. It is the federal law enforcement. It is the people that have to live here. There's a big difference. The people in the American Revolution that were fighting against us, the people who are fighting against us in the Revolutionary War knew they could go back home and they'd be greeted as heroes. They didn't have to live here. But here today, you have people who will have to live with the consequence of their decisions, which means if we win the culture war and we shift confidence in the system away from the corrupt establishment machine, then you will not have anyone to fight anything. And we don't want that. We want an election. We want to win this one. And that means it's going to be very, very difficult. Really is. And people are going to make claims about fraud and law and all of that stuff. The scary thing with this story is that if we cannot file lawsuits making claims because our lawyers will be attacked by the machine, the system is breaking down. We need to make sure that judges who do things like this learn society will not accept it. That doesn't mean that they go to jail or whatever. It just means their neighbors are going to say, you did a really bad thing, John. Why would you do that? You're not welcome at little Jimmy's birthday. Your kids can't come to the birthday party. We're not going to go to the meetings with you. You're out. The issue we're seeing is hyperpolarization between states. So in a place like Colorado, where it's deep blue, they're not going to care because their neighbors are going to celebrate this. And that's the scary reality. But I'll tell you this right now. We have a victory at hand. Congratulations to conservatives' dad's revenge. I'll leave it there. Next segment is coming up at, 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all then.